Recording in progress.
Oh yeah, we got him. Trey, Frazier, and Maestro Styles, you know we got one. Right back like we left something. We don't duck smoke, we want all of it. So line them up, Trey sharp with the blade, you know we sizing it up. I'm quick to catch the fade, you know Styles making the cut. Cause we coming out clean every time that we showing up.
It's gonna be called The Barbershop.
Yo, what up, what's good? Welcome to another episode. This is the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. We're live on our YouTube channel, on our Twitter handle at Barbershop SPOR2, and on our Facebook page. And you can also follow us on our social media on the gram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. I'm Trey Frazier. I got my brother Maestro Styles here with me today.
Yes, sir.
What up, man? How we feeling?
Coolin', man. Hey, man. If it look like I'm tired, it's because I've been working, man.
Hey, ain't we both working today, man? It's crazy. It's
Quick
crazy.
plug. On the music tip, I just want to salute everybody who purchased this new project I did with Andrew Jackson, The Great Unknown. It's getting some good reception. Like a couple people supporting, man. I appreciate it. If you haven't got The Great Unknown, follow me at Maestro Styles. The link is in the bio, The Great Unknown. I produced every track on there. Gave you a little hook on there. Hey, for sure, The Great Unknown. Go get that.
Yeah, shout out to Andrew Jackson. Shout out to you, bro, for
Yes, sir.
another dope project, man.
Yes, sir.
Looking
More to
forward
come.
Yeah, looking forward to the next one, bro. Looking forward to the next one. Hey, I got a question for you, man. Best fight of the weekend goes to who? Because we've had a bunch of them. We've had a bunch of them. And
easily the joint in Alabama.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, easily.
Yes, sir.
Easily.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Why I ain't think about that? I got 4 of them bitches on my damn back boundary, man. Why I ain't think about that shit?
Hey, shout out to all the black people in Montgomery, Alabama that showed out for this brother. This brother's working security, trying to get these white folks to, move their boat off the dock so this riverboat could come through, let some people off. And it got crazy, man. The white folks, they jumped him. Homie swam from the boat to the dock to help. Dude from the ramp up top went down to help. And then next thing you know, by the time the boat got to the dock, you just saw niggas. Like, you just saw niggas run into the smoke. And that was it.
For sure. And let me be clear, man. I hate that it had to come to that. Keep your damn hands to yourself. Mm-hmm. But I'm proud of my people who saw a situation getting out of hand for no reason.
Yes, sir.
And I saw somewhere that the day before that was a Trump rally there. And
I didn't know that.
And then like 2 hours before was some 2 hours before that situation was like this lady doing some type of memorial, like a memorial for some dead, for some people who had passed away.
Yeah.
So it was. I was thinking like, man, that's like some type of a hotbed for racism over at that one particular area. Mm-hmm. For it to be something for white people in a Trump rally and the day before, and then right before that situation happened, some type of ceremony for black people, man. So
it's crazy. It's crazy down there, man.
I mean, like I wish that it didn't get crazy like that. I wish them dudes didn't go crazy like that. But if you're gonna put that energy out there, then you damn sure need to get it reciprocated.
2 things: keep your hands to yourself, number 1, and number 2, just move the damn boat. Like, I mean, And
I hate that lady had to get hit with a chair. Because let's be clear, that was a woman who got hit with a chair.
It was a woman. It was a woman that got hit with a chair.
I hate that that had to happen to you. But what are you doing?
Yeah.
Get out, yeah. Like what?
But I think we talked about this, a few times when we're discussing, when guys fight and the female kind of is involved, and when the female inserts herself into the situation to get physical. Once you do that, then you open
in the
yourself.
line of fire.
You open yourself to getting got like how she got.
Yeah, for
You
sure,
know?
for sure, for sure. So yeah, and let me be clear. That's not because I'm not saying that because she didn't quote unquote deserve it. Because I agree with you. I agree, and we've been saying it forever. If you get in that, then you bound to get what's coming to you.
Yeah.
But I'm always going. I just hate that. I hate that it had to be her.
When I saw it the first time, when I first saw it in real time, I did kind of jump up. It was like, whoa. And then when the girl, and shout out the girl that was talking throughout the whole thing, because she was doing like some great play-by-play on the whole thing, right? And so one of the dudes, I guess, was standing next to her and was like, yo, oh, he going to jail, whatever. And I kind of had to agree because that was, I mean, it
I'm
was
not going to
assault.
say excessive. Yeah. All of the shit was assault. But
yeah, absolutely.
I'm not going to say I'm not going to say that it's excessive because I don't believe that. But certainly somebody looking at it would say, okay, we need to get him because he's going to the next level.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Like I was just gonna say, it just hit different. No pun intended. It hit different than guys just getting punched in their face.
Right.
Like you getting hit on the head with a folding chair. Like, and you're not even in a position where you could really defend yourself. She was sitting down. Like she got knocked to the ground, and then homie came over and hit her over the head with the chair.
Yeah. But at the same time, she was
in there. Yeah, she was in the fray,
and she got sat down. But I bet she ain't fight. She wasn't fighting no more after she caught that chair.
She was in there. She was definitely
you gotta
in
eliminate
there.
her.
Absolutely.
Eliminate her.
Although I will say there were quite a few other white guys that were in that scuffle that deserved the chair. Certainly, also.
Look. I think he saw somebody who could get it.
He was clearly enraged. He clearly was like in a zone where it was just like, yo, like they trying to get us. They trying to kill us. So I gotta kill back. And he saw the nearest object and he just went after it.
So,
yeah. Well, a big shout out too. So I know there's some leaders down there that was speaking on behalf of the black folk that did get arrested that was in the fight. They ended up releasing those folks. So, shout out to whoever the higher ups are for kind of understanding the situation for kind of what it was, how it started.
This was melee. This is not isolated incidents. This was something. Yeah.
This was something with, and by the way, and I know people take criticism for videotaping, but I think for this particular situation, I think it was great that you had multiple camera shots of this whole incident, like even kind of going back to how it started. You know what I'm saying? Because we saw, and I don't know if you saw either, but we saw the security guard tell the guys, hey, I need you to move the boat from the dock because we're trying to get the riverboat through. And then when he saw they wasn't complying, he went and I guess he was trying to de-anchor the boat from the dock, and then that's when they kind of had a problem with it, and then they were kind of going back and forth, on a verbal tip, and then next thing you know, white dude comes from the left and just starts swinging at him. So we know who started it. Like it's clear as day. And so props to the folks that took video of it, and more importantly, props to the people that went to that man's rescue.
For sure.
For certain there, man.
For sure. But y'all need to stop acting like that, white folks. Like no bullshit. Y'all need to stop acting like that because I don't, and obviously I wasn't there, so I don't know what happened. But move your damn boat. He'd have been wrong if he called the police, right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
he
tried to, what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. You doing too much. Y'all was doing too much.
Move the boat, and more importantly, keep your hands to yourself. Like,
for sure.
You didn't have to strike the dude like that. So
for sure.
So I guess since we're talking about fights and stuff, so did you see Tim Anderson from the White Sox gets slumped by
Yeah.
Jose Ramirez.
He got slumped by a sleeper joint. That dude that slim swung and didn't know it was going to connect.
Yeah.
Look, and then got more games than
Yeah.
than Short. This Ramirez. Ramirez, is it Ramirez?
Jose Ramirez. Yeah. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
3 games for Ramirez and I think 6 for Anderson.
It seems. I don't pretend to have seen the whole situation from start to end.
Mm-hmm.
But it would seem that Tim Anderson was the aggressor. He just got caught being aggressive.
I don't know, man. I don't know because I watched the whole thing. I mean, Anderson was sliding into second base. He kind of Ramirez. I'm sorry, Ramirez was sliding into second base. He kind of slid under Anderson's legs because I guess Anderson was trying to tag him before he hit second. Right. And Anderson got up, Ramirez got up, and you saw some verbal stuff for like, a quick couple seconds, and then next thing you know, the ump gets in the middle, shoves the ump out the way.
Who shoves the ump out the way?
I think it was Ramirez that kind of shoved the ump out the way. Okay. And then that's when Anderson threw the glove off and was like, yo, we gonna have to square up. So it's kind of like the 3 games to 6. Like you're giving him double over. Like I feel like it should be equal.
Okay, that's fair. Based on how you described it, that's fair.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's equal because they both squared up. It's not like Ramirez hit him off the break or anything like that.
Well, my thought was, based on how you described it, was Ramirez pushed the umpire. Okay, so yeah, that's aggressive. Mm-hmm. And then then Anderson throws off his glove like, trying to shoot the fade.
Yep.
So then that's aggressive. I think it should have been equal. I agree. I mean, it's too bad.
If I'm Tim Anderson, I would appeal the 6 games and get it reduced. If I'm Tim Anderson.
Okay. I guess 6 games. At this stage of the season, 6 games is kind of important right now. At least starting to be.
Yeah, White Sox suck. They're not going anywhere.
Oh, all right. Well, but it's still money. At the end of the day, it's still money.
Of course.
Yeah.
I agree with that. It's funny. So did you watch that Pivot episode with Tim Anderson on there?
No, okay. I didn't know who Tim Anderson was before this, so.
Okay. Yeah, I would, and I'm not going to pretend like I watched the whole episode of it, but I would suggest, because seeing, a couple of clips from it, because he's the guy that I guess is got, like, the girlfriend on the side or something, crazy like that. I don't want to go, too deeper into it without really getting all the facts straight, but it's just funny how this incident comes up and then people saying, "Oh."
So he kind of like a popular. So he's a popular player at baseball.
Yeah, he's popular. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I don't really watch baseball like that. So.
Yeah. Nah, I got you. I got you. But seeing the clips from that episode, I said, "Yo, I need to watch this from beginning to end," because a lot of folks are making references to, "Oh, he got karma." Just off of being hit because of, the history with him and, some side chick or whatever, because he's married to some girl right now. So, I'm going to find out what that's all about. So I guess the other melee, if you want to call it that, which really wasn't a popular fight, but so I guess there's this YouTuber called Kai Cenat, a very popular YouTube personality.
Okay, I've seen his name, but I ain't.
You said what?
I saw his name on timelines, but
Got you. So this guy had made an announcement to his fans that he was going to be in Union Square, New York City, giving out free PS5s or whatever. And so I guess he and his crew, they get out there. There's mad people out there on the square. And I mean, it's to the point where cops got to block streets off. Cars couldn't go nowhere. And then next thing you know, cats just start looting. Like, a couple fights broke out. I mean, nothing popular or anything like that.
Who is this nigga? Who is this nigga?
I'll be honest with you. When I heard the story, I didn't know who this cat was. And at that point, I just didn't kind of bother to research him, like what his background is, where he came from or whatever. But the dude
Don't
was
this
like,
nigga rap or some shit? I thought I saw that he rap.
I don't know.
God bless. Like,
I don't know, bro. I don't know,
God
but
bless.
but he, hey, God bless him for being able to, attract a crowd of that size for being a popular, YouTube cat. Like again, I don't know. I don't know who the cat is. Like I just learned
like
about
I said,
him.
Yeah, I was more so saying I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
God bless him. God bless him. Now.
Right. But
we got more pressing issues, Trey, and I don't know how long before we got more pressing issues.
Yeah, we definitely do. We
Who the fuck let Colin Cowherd get that shit off today?
That's crazy. I saw your tweet earlier, man. And this ain't the only thing I got smoked for today, but yeah.
Who the fuck is Colin? Look.
So can I put some blame
to
some folks too? Because I think we got two stories that center around graphics production people. We'll talk about the Orioles stuff in a second here,
okay.
but this Colin Cowherd stuff, right? So obviously he's doing radio, but he's also simulcast on TV, right? So they put this graphic up where he's got a list of quarterbacks that he's claiming you can't win a Super Bowl with, right? Yeah. And so he's got Dwayne Haskins' name on there. Now everybody knows, rest in peace to Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins passed away about a year ago, last year. And to me, it's number one, it's very disrespectful for number one to even bring up his name in that type of a conversation, knowing that he's not around to defend himself, for one. Number two, you got a graphics department or production department that is supposed to be on point with these things before you even broadcast it to your audience, and then to the person, in this case it's Colin Cowherd. I don't know if he got caught off guard with with the name being there. I would think you would.
No, I'm sorry, Trey. And
what happened? What's good?
Colin Cowherd is.
And for the record, I didn't see the clip. I saw the.
I saw what I needed to. I saw what I needed to saw.
I didn't hear the audio. I didn't hear the audio. I just saw. I saw the list.
He said Dwayne Haskins. I'm sorry, because he said Dwayne Haskins by name. Of all the names he could have said, like, okay, if the graphic it made a mistake, cool. Mm-hmm. The name he picked off of that list to read was somebody else, and Dwayne.
So he didn't list. So he didn't go quarterback by quarterback. He went right to Haskins and pointed out and called out Haskins
and whoever, and another name I don't remember. But here, so I want to say that a sports broadcaster of his ilk, meaning he's done it for this however many years, millions of years.
Yeah.
He did. Maybe he forgot that Dwayne Haskins passed, but in my mind, no, because you were.
I can't buy that. I can't buy that.
Exactly. No.
Yeah, I can't buy that. Yeah.
So even worse, right? Mm-hmm. Did you see the list?
So
don't worry. I
can't remember. Go ahead.
When I tell you that the majority of the people on this list are even out of the league or third string quarterbacks, is some of this shit. This nigga got EJ Manuel on this list.
Oh snap!
This nigga got Johnny Manziel on this list. This nigga got Blake Bortles on his list. Teddy Bridgewater. I guess Sam Darnold is still in this league, but he's a third string quarterback.
Yeah, Bridgewater's still in the league. It's a mixture of names. It's a mixture of names.
Right. Yeah. So who nigga what was this shit on quarterback day? Like, what was this? Why would you mention EJ Manuel and Johnny Manziel and Marcus Mariota? I get Marcus Mariota is still in the league. Yeah. He is not a starter. Blake Bortles is not a starter. He got Justin Fields on here. He got Daniel Jones. He got Kenny Pickett. Like, he got some quarterbacks.
Okay, so he's got current quarterbacks on there.
Sure. Okay. But most of them are either not current.
Mm-hmm. They out of the league.
Or they second, not starting, not even starting.
Mm-hmm.
Who the fuck is this nigga? Who the fuck is this nigga? And who the fuck is these people? This is FS1.
Fire the graphics people and Colin Cowherd fire his ass.
Right, we ESPN firing niggas for absolutely nothing. Why you deserve a job?
Yeah.
To drop the ball like that.
Yeah.
And not even not even notice it, or notice it, which makes me to believe that you got some type of ill will towards Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, fuck you.
If that happened the way you're saying it, then yeah, that's foul. That's foul on all parties.
Nah, that's nasty behavior.
That's
he
foul.
Should and the positive. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be a more centered human being. Wants to just believe that he was really that oblivious in the moment and didn't realize what he had said and realize what they had did, and that by tomorrow there's going to be a wholehearted and apology that is heartfelt and that makes me believe that he was really caught in the fucking moment, or that something happened behind the scenes that we don't know about. Otherwise, and it's not like I super supported Colin Cowherd anyway. Yeah. But I'm definitely off that bitch ass nigga if that's how he going right now.
This was planned. Like the way this kind of looks, just the context that you put out.
I don't work for FS1, so I don't know. This
looked planned, bro.
It
looked planned. Like I was about to shoot Colin Cowherd some bail because I thought he got, again, I didn't watch the audio. I just saw the video, the intro of the video, plus the names. I didn't hear the actual audio, and I didn't hear him list the quarterbacks and then get to Dwayne Haskins. I didn't see any of that.
This nigga said Dwayne Haskins by name.
But that's
when
that's
naming
foul,
some
man.
notables, when naming notables off of that list, he thought that Dwayne Haskins was a notable name to mention.
That's foul, man. That's just foul. That's
crazy.
Up.
That's crazy.
That's messed up.
That's crazy to me, dog. That's crazy to me.
That is
that's crazy to me.
Yeah, that's messed up. Yeah, fire the graphics people. Fire the production
fire.
folks.
Yeah, some folk need to get fired.
It's one thing because you hear instances where graphics people accidentally put stuff in there, or maybe they do it a little bit on purpose just to be slick or whatever, and then the on-air personality kind of gets caught off guard, and sometimes they gotta pivot just to make sure they wasn't reading stuff. But what's up?
So what this nigga think is Anchorman, where you read whatever's on the fucking teleprompter, dog? Like, what is this? What kind of elementary bullshit is? Like, this is elementary at its
but
best.
You realize that's like today's like media. Like when graphics are shown on a screen, and whether you're like a play-by-play guy or you're a personality, you're saying stuff to kind of reference what the graphic is saying. Maybe not word for word sometimes, but that's what today's kind of culture is.
Sure, but I'm sorry, I just deleted the fucking graphic. But my thing is, bruh, not half them names were not even names that should have been mentioned at all.
I'm with you 100%, and I'm also with you that I feel like this was planned. Like I feel like they can't come out.
I hope they got a good laugh over that joke, because they should lose their fucking jobs. Because I'm sorry, don't Paxton Lynch play in the XFL?
Paxton Lynch does play in the XFL.
Like, what are we doing right now? What are we doing right now, bro? It's nasty. It's nasty work. It's nasty fucking work. Yeah. And I hope they got a good laugh, because they should pay for it with their fucking jobs.
Wild stuff.
It's nasty, dog. I don't co-sign it. That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
Wild stuff. Fire them graphics people. And Colin Cowherd, he got to get dealt with. Deal with that guy.
I mean, look, dog. Hey, ESPN is making it very clear that we can replace people, big names, and be all right.
Yeah.
Fire them.
That's probably what's going to end up happening anyway. That's probably what's going to end up happening.
That's true. That you can't make that mistake, dog. Fire that nigga. You can't make that mistake. You just can't make that mistake, dog. Fire. He don't need a job. He don't. All right, go. He got enough. Fan base where he can go do his own thing independent.
Yep.
So he'll be fine. Fire him. Fire them.
That's some nasty stuff right there, man. Hey, so folks, let's welcome our guests for this week. Been watching his brother for a little bit now. He's got a podcast out right now called The Real Deal with Courtney Harden. You can check it out on all your streaming platforms. Does a great job with the guests that he has on, and reached out to him this week, and thought he could come on, and he was welcoming to hop on with us. So Courtney Harden, man, welcome to the Sports Podcast. How you doing, man? How's everything?
I'm doing good, man. I appreciate it. I'm on the Barbershop Sports Talk podcast. We finally did it, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
I appreciate that. I'm a big fan of you guys. I love all the things you guys are doing, all the the content, and everything, and I appreciate the invite, man. So I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
We see you in the streets as well, bro. So
yeah,
reciprocate it.
Yeah, definitely. And we do. We watch each other, and you have some of the same guests and everything, but it's all love, man. I really appreciate the invite. I really love you guys, the podcast and everything.
Yeah, and speaking of the same guests too, and shout out to all the female guests that we've had on, and I've noticed that some of the female guests we have on you had on your platform as well. But the thing that I always can admire about your podcast is that you give women the platform. Like it seemed like every week you got somebody, you got a woman on from sports that's doing her thing. And I feel like you're one of the ones that give the women the platform, to speak on sports topics and things like that. So we definitely appreciate what you're doing there.
Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I try to, as you said, just try to uplift the women that are just doing their thing, whether it's in sports, media, anything like that, and just to give them, like I said, just give them a platform and give them their flowers that they deserve. And because I know it's tough for them a lot, and some of the things that they go through and what we see that we don't go through. And they talk about that too on the podcast. I just want to give them something like a safe space at least, and just to let them know that we're here for them. Anything they need to help, if they want to promote something, if they just tell their story, whatever it is. I just try to uplift the women in the sports media space. So that's one of the main things I try to do with the one of the main things I try to do with the podcast.
Man,
yeah, for sure. What I find, and I think Trey would second me on this, is that I think what I found out in having so many women guests on in recent history is that, man, they just as sharp, if not sharper, than us when it comes to talking about sports. And I've had this conversation a few times off air about these joints don't really know what they're talking about, and I was like, man, I would tell you. Based on my history, man, if you sit there and talk to these women, they know just as much, and they're willing to go with you and talk that shit with you about with the sport. So definitely, I think it's important to give them a platform to be heard, and if you just listen, you'll hear some good shit.
Yeah, and that's what it's about, just listening. Like, as we put, like, we give, like I said, we said, okay, you want to be a guest, they come on, and it's just like just talking amongst like friends almost in a way, that's what it's about. It's like I don't care if it's a male, female, it doesn't matter. I mean, they know their stuff, and I would never question that either. So it's just like we're just conversating. I have a question, and we're just conversating. Like you might have a Cowboy fan. I'm an Eagles fan, Cowboy fan on. We're arguing like what we would do. We're just arguing. We're just debating. But it's that respect. They deserve that respect, and that's what we give. That's what I try to do. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
Now, how did you link up with BS3? And shout out to the homie BS3. We had him on a couple times in the past and earlier this year. But I noticed that with his BS3 network, you actually had your podcast on his network for a little bit while. You guys still connected?
Oh yeah, yep, still on the BS3 network. And it's funny because when I was doing a podcast, I had a podcast before, a previous one. It was called The Takeover, and that's how I started podcast. And I was like 2015. So I did that for a while. I had a co-host at one point, and then I did that. And then I just did it. I did it by myself, and from for a couple of years. So it's like 2017. But I was always, me and Ben linked up before I jumped on his network. So I think that was 2019 when I linked up with him. He was starting his network. He was just doing a podcast by
Yeah.
himself and everything. And he said, you know what, I'm gonna do a network. So he reached out after I took a year off. I did the podcast for like 4 years, 3, 4 years, took a year off, just got burnt out. And he said, I'm looking to have some hosts and some podcasts on this new network. Do you want to join? And I was trying to get back into it. I was like, okay, this is perfect. I already know Ben, had worked with him, been on his show, and he was on mine for a couple times, and we just linked up from there. He just said, "Hey, you want to just jump on?" And I rebranded it the Real Deal, and that was in 2019. And ever since then, I've been on his network and just putting out the content from there. So yeah, so shout out to BS3 and the entire network. But it's a great platform, and that's how we really linked up. So we linked up before I
Mhm.
jumped on, but it was just I think it was just it fit. It was just a good
Yeah,
fit,
yeah, yeah.
and I just kind of linked with him, and we've been rocking ever since.
For sure. Shout out to my man Ben, because I tell him last time I spoke to him, I was like, boy, you doing it, boy. He started
Yeah,
talking about Roku and all this other. I said, boy,
yeah.
you doing it.
Hmm.
So yeah, shout out to Ben. He definitely doing big things. All right, man, let's get straight to the shits, as I like to say.
Okay,
We
let's
got
do
some
it.
sports topics to talk about. I'll give you the easy conversation first,
Okay.
because this is the easy conversation, man. The Eagles, the Philadelphia Eagles off season. Clearly 14-3, Super Bowl, what do you call it? Second place, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But going into this year, man, it seems like it's funny. I watched a quick little video before I got on, about the offseason and quote unquote expectations, and I mean clearly it would seem that y'all are don't have a whole rack of weaknesses, and that if it's officially Super Bowl or bust season.
Yes, you put
Yeah,
that exactly how I see it too, because as you said, they went 14-3 last year, got to the Super Bowl, ran through the NFC, got through the Super Bowl,
Hmm.
and they just ran into the best player in the league. They just
yeah,
ran into
right,
that Patrick Mahomes. I
Yeah,
mean,
right.
I can't even
yeah.
front
They
on that.
made one
Like,
mistake in that Super Bowl, though. I think that was the turnover, the Jalen
yeah,
Hurts
yeah, the
turnover.
Yeah,
fumble, yeah, the
the
fumble,
fumble.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Otherwise, he was great,
Oh yeah,
man.
he would have been the MVP
He would have
Yeah,
been
of
the
the Super
MVP.
Bowl. Of the Super
yeah.
Bowl, and they still could have gave it to him, but it's Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he was playing on one leg really, and he just shows like he's just on a different level than everybody else. But heading into this season, yeah, it's very high expectations. Like last year, going into last season, I didn't have real high expectations. The only thing I wanted to do was just to improve and see Jalen Hurts improve.
Yeah,
And he did that leaps and bounds. The Howie Roseman gave him all the weapons he could have, and he just that's part of the progression. But his game himself, what Jalen Hurts did, but that was him, And now
Yeah.
he's ranked third from on NFL.com, NFL Network ranked him third, the very best player. So that's a huge progression that Jalen Hurts is what he's done. So he's
Hmm.
definitely a QB1. But going into this season, you said they they just built they keep building. They built in the draft. They built in free agency and trades. So yeah, it is definitely Super Bowl or bust.
Yeah, you had some changes on defense this offseason
Mhm.
also.
Yeah,
Gardner Johnson goes to the Lions.
right.
I forget the other guy on the defensive line that you guys lost to. Who the
uh,
Niners? The Niners.
Hargrave,
Hargrave.
Hargrave,
Oh,
Pittsburgh,
Hargrave.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
Hargrave,
But it seems like you guys have kind of found replacements for them. In hopes that they're gonna fill the role in the production and everything. So how you feeling about the defense going in this year?
Losing Hargrave and Gardner Johnson, I thought that was a big blow because they were big. They were a huge part of the getting into the Super Bowl last
Yeah,
season. And
yeah.
but now they replaced them with younger guys. They
Yeah,
got
sure
they got
it
some
is.
they got some rookies and Jordan Davis from last season. So
Mhm.
he did play a lot in the beginning, and then he got hurt, and he was trying to work his way back. So, but he's going to be trying to fill the role of Hargrave that hole. So, and Hargrave had 11 sacks last year. So
Right.
that's a big hole to fill. But I think Jordan Davis is ready, playing out alongside Fletcher Cox. Brandon Graham is back. So I really feel like they are going. They went into the draft like, hey, okay, we got to address this because we are going to lose some guys. They got Jalen Carter, which I didn't think he was going to fall that far down.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
Jesus,
that was like, and I went to the Eagles draft party, and everybody was like, "Oh, they're going to get Bijan." I'm like, if Jalen Carter keeps slipping, so he has some off-season, off the field issues and things like
which
that.
I
But
wouldn't have cared about. I
yeah, right.
wish he would have got down to Pittsburgh,
Yeah,
boy.
right. And again, going to a great organization can help a
Yeah.
player like him.
Yep.
Pittsburgh's a front office, great organization. So Philadelphia, great organization. So yeah, it just fit. So he kept falling. I'm like, Jalen Carter's coming to the Eagles. Like they're going to get him because he was built as the most talented player heading into the draft, one of the most talented players. So I think they filled those roles, and the rookies, but he's a rookie, but with those veterans on that defensive line, I think they'll be fine on the defensive line.
Yeah, I mean, let's be clear. The first 5 games look like, I mean, you got like the Buccaneers and the Rams and the Commanders, and it's like so you're looking like you're gonna be like 5-0 in the first 5 games. Like it's looking. I mean, and then Miles Sanders leaves, and I know that he had like all these. He had a good year rushing wise last year, but.
Right.
You replace him with a stable of like DeAndre Swift, Rashad Penny. You still got Gainwell and Boston Scott. So now y'all looking like y'all playing this whole game where you got a whole bunch of you got 4 running backs that are good running backs but don't require a whole bunch of money because A, the market, and B, because they don't have the stock to even command any money, man. So I mean, to be honest. Again, I mean, not to keep riding the point home, it's y'all Super Bowl to lose. And I mean, and it'd be good because I know Jason Kelsey is probably playing his last year.
Yeah, I think Kelsey, he got begged to come back the last 2 seasons, and so and he's still playing at such a high level. He's still one of the best. I mean, one of the best centers.
Best centers in the game, for sure.
Yeah.
And I got Howie Roseman, man. Like this guy just, I always say, how in the world does this guy keep doing it? Like Eagles had hardly no cap space, and he figures a way to get these guys to come in. But you said they're not big contracts really, and getting Swift, which was a surprise. Like when they got Penny, I was like, okay, this is good. Replace Miles Sanders. I liked Miles Sanders. I've always liked Miles Sanders. I just don't think the Eagles utilized him enough or the right way. They got away from the running game a lot, but then Gainwell started catching a lot, like doing well. So I figured, okay, we're gonna go into the offseason. We're gonna go into the season with Gainwell. I'm cool with that. I was good with that because he was getting more carries in the playoffs and then in the Super Bowl too. So he was like, I said, okay, can he handle the workload? But now they got Swift and Penny. I said that since they both can't stay healthy, they make one running back really. Like, Penny can be good for 8 games, and then Swift might be good for 8 games. But you said we got game on Boston Scott's back too. So yeah, the running back that room now is very talented.
Very good, very good.
Y'all got the Patriots to open up the season, and then the Vikings, and then the teams that my show was just talking about with the Bucks, Commanders, and the Rams and stuff. So yeah, it's definitely possible that y'all can start the season undefeated, 5-0, going into that Jets game, which I think is week 6 or whatever. So, but back to the defense for a second, because in this modern day of the NFL where they're throwing the ball a lot and stuff, this defense, set a record for sacks, if I'm not mistaken. They had like 5 or 6 guys with double-digit sacks.
10 or more, yep.
Yeah, and and I felt like it got overshadowed because Jalen Hurts was so great, along with the offense, production and everything. But like, where do you put this defense in like the echelon of maybe some of your previous, past great defenses?
I think especially last season, it's way up there. It's very high because of the sacks and the pressure they was able to put on. I mean, they had 62.5 sacks came from just their front 4. I don't know, 70. So they weren't blitzing much. And Hassan Reddick, I think he had 17 sacks.
17,
So he had 17. Josh Sweat had 11. Brandon Graham, for the first time in his career, he had double digits. He had 11. And even Fletcher Cox, who he's on the back end of his career, so he's had a couple last couple seasons he really struggled, but now that he was able to come back a little bit for what he was, so I think he had 7 or 7.5 sacks. So Like I said, they replaced Hargrave he had 11 sacks himself, so that's going to be where I believe where Jordan Davis comes in, or so I think the defense should be. I think they're still going to be just as good. They might take a step back. I'm the secondary is still a little questionable, even though Bradbury and Slay, all pro corners,
Oh, yeah.
but it's that back end.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where I'm concerned. They're young on that back end. But hopefully they're going to be able to pressure with that front four and able to still get pressure, so the secondary won't get beat deep so much. But I think the defense should be a top 5 defense heading into the season.
Yeah, I'm thinking top 3. I mean, not the, I'm objective at this point of the season, so
yeah, me too. I'm trying to be.
yeah. I mean, look, man, if you're telling that offense that, we going to score more than 20,
True.
I think the Eagles will be just fine. I think they'll be just fine. I don't want to harp too much on the Eagles because I want to get to the tough question.
Okay.
The Philadelphia Sixers all season.
Let's go.
Ooh.
When are they gonna trade your cousin at some point, man? Like, what's going on? What's going on?
I don't know, man. I think Harden's gonna be back. I really do. Like, if they didn't trade him now, I mean, yes, it's still the off season,
super early. Yeah,
it's still early. But the thing is, where does he go? I mean, they said the Clippers, but do the Sixers? Who are they going to offer? And they're not going to offer Paul George or Kawhi. So who else are they going to offer? It's going to have to be picks at least. But I don't know. I don't know where else Harden would fit.
Yeah,
where does he fit? It'd have to be a 3-team deal at least. I feel he's going to be right back here for one more season. I think they're going to try to run it back one more year, and they'll probably get to the second round again, and they get bounced out.
Yep. Did they trade Tobias Harris already?
Nah, nope, he's still there.
He's still there. I know they've been trying to get him. I know they've been trying to get him too. Yeah. Okay, so let's be clear. The process. Are we done talking about this? Is nobody's gonna try to slide that in? Or are we? What's your...
It should be done. Like, the process is done. Like, it's like they haven't improved enough to still be called the process. Like,
this is the product at this point.
This is the product of the process, right?
Yeah.
And then Joel Embiid, I mean, top 3-5 player in the league, MVP of the last MVP. So now there's been a lot of rumors and talk about, okay, if he doesn't get past the second round, okay, now the pressure on him. Is it him? Is he the problem? And that's what the sport talking heads have been saying here. Now he isn't getting hardly any of the blame as of this point, because he had the MVP year. But if he doesn't get him over the hump, because they should have beat the Celtics last season. Like, they should have, they had him on the ropes.
Up 3-2.
Up 3-2 in the fourth quarter. Jason Tatum was 2 for 15 at that point.
Had a garbage game. Garbage game 6.
And they was up by 10 plus. And then the fourth quarter, the last 6 minutes, Tatum outscores the Sixers by himself. And then in game 7, he scores 51. So that was it right there. And that's the Sixers. That's been them since the process, for the last 4 or 5 seasons. So it's just, I don't know. Now it's going to be, I think, more pressure's on Joel Embiid to get them over the hump. But he needs his help. So Harden, he is who he is. Harden is a good regular season player, but when it comes to playoff, when the pressure comes, he just folds, So,
and I will reckon to say that Joel Embiid, as talented as he is, and I guess because there's way more regular season played than playoff that's played, that you have to put him in the top 5, but he is 5 C. Like, he is the most middest best player in the league that could be known to man. I'm like, it's just too much for him. What has to happen? Because let me be clear on this. Let me clear my stance. They do not win a championship with Joel Embiid being the main piece. That's my stance.
They need a wing. They need a wing that's gonna be like, hey, give me the ball. I'm gonna get the last shot.
You said a who?
A wing.
A wing. Oh,
a wing.
Okay, gotcha,
a wing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. They need that kind of guy that could take over a game in the fourth quarter or be able to get the last bucket if you need a last bucket, right? So who's that cat on the Sixers right now?
Tobias Harris.
Tobias Harris. He thinks he's like that. I
And
mean,
that's
the way he was
nasty
talking,
word. Yeah.
the way he's talking in the offseason, or I know his dad was chatting it up, saying,
Yeah, I saw
Tobias
that.
Harris needs to be that guy. I'm like,
I saw
Tobias
that.
Harris had opportunities to be that guy.
Long time
Nah.
ago.
A long time ago. He's not that guy. Tyrese Maxey, I mean, yes, he could be the guy that can score, but I think the Sixers need to get Dame. Like, they need to go and get Dame themselves. That's the piece that they need. I mean, as much as Maxey is a really good player.
Yeah.
They say they got Harden. I say you take whatever it takes to get Dame here to Philly, and then he'll be the guy to take the pressure off of Joel Embiid.
Right.
And that can score. We've seen Dame time again and again and again hit those clutch shots, and that's the pressure. That's the guy Joel Embiid always says after they get bounced out. I need some more help. Okay, well you take whatever it takes to get Dame, because now they got Nick Nurse now as coach.
Yeah.
Got rid of Doc. I knew Doc was gonna get. They know he's gonna get fired after they got.
And he
bounced
deserved
out.
it. And he deserved it.
It was time. Like he never adjusts in the playoffs. But Nick Nurse, who's won a championship too, in Toronto. I mean, maybe he's gonna unlock another level to Joel Embiid. But if they had somebody like a Damian Lillard, that would really, I think that would put the Sixers in that upper echelon and get them at least to the conference final.
Yeah.
But Courtney, let's be clear. The Sixers have problems beyond Doc Rivers, being the issue. They got no shooting. Me and Maestro, we talked about that for about a couple years now. Like, they have no guards that, you can hit them in the corner, they can knock down a shot for you. They don't have that guy.
Yeah.
Really
I mean, they got that Niang guy who I guess, but he don't really get a whole bunch of he don't really
he don't get a lot of time.
He don't get the looks.
I'll be honest, man. Burn the whole ship down. Hate to be, burn the whole ship down.
It's coming, man. I think they're gonna run it back one more time, at least try.
Yeah.
Because they are a top 3 in the East.
Yes.
When they're healthy. But then Joel Embiid, he got injured in the Brooklyn series and comes back game 3, I think it was, game 2 or 3. And he didn't look the same. He just didn't look himself. And it seems like it happens every year. So I think they're gonna run it back one more time with Nick Nurse as coach now. But you're right, the shooting is always, they haven't had a good shooter since JJ Redick. Really?
Yeah.
And you need shooting. You do need shooting. I mean, look at all the past championships of shooting. Denver had shooting. Golden State, they got shooters.
Yep.
Milwaukee
had them. Yeah.
They had shooters. So you need guys that can, when Joel Embiid gets double teamed, he can kick it out, who can hit consistently. PJ Tucker's he's not that guy. He can't get 20 each night. And like I said, Maxey, nice piece and is improving, but he's not a consistent knockdown shooter. James Harden's not a consistent knockdown shooter. Tobias Harris can be, but he's not.
He don't want to be.
He don't want to be.
He don't want to be.
He's very streaky.
But he don't want to shoot. I think if he realized, I can make my money for the next 5, maybe 8 years, just being a knockdown shooter. He in the gym and did that. He could do that, but he still think he is slash. He still think he can compete with those upper echelon creative shot scorers, and that ain't. I don't think that's his game no more. Like I say, he's been in this league for a brick. I think he need to start adjusting his game if he's going to be that guy for the Sixers. But I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, like I said, burn it down, especially when and then getting back to Joel Embiid, considering that his competition is doing everything on his team, setting his shooters up, scoring, rebounding. It's a wrap. And I get it. He will consistent as long as he's that tall and that talented and put the numbers up. He'll still get the comparison like he's as good as the Joker. But I mean, I think it's clear at this stage of the game that his levels and that Joel Embiid ain't there and might. And I mean, how long he been in the league? Since
he's been in the league about
8
years, 8 years, something
8
like
years,
that. About 8 years.
years.
I mean, maybe he reaching prime season, but I want to say he probably ain't.
Yeah, and
so this is the guy.
He might be motivated just because he saw the Joker, and I think the Joker's better. I felt that way over the last couple of seasons. That the Joker was better
for sure.
Right.
And because the Joker, like you said, he sets up his teammates. He can pass. He can shoot. He can get on the block. And I know people criticize his defense, but he improved that too. So
Yeah.
he's a big load. So he just showed like, look, I can average triple double. Joel Embiid can do just as much as he can, and I think he's a better defender. But there's like you said, there's a different level when Joker's out
Yeah,
there.
I
It
think
just seems,
Embiid. I think when it comes to passing and making guys around you better, I
right.
think that's where
That's
he's
the
not on
separation.
that
Yeah.
level with
Right.
the Joker. But just to stay on the Embiid topic for a second, so full disclosure, I'm a diehard Knicks fan, and
Okay.
my off season so far in my timelines has been littered with trade proposals,
Hmm.
all crazy stuff that I'm hearing. And one of the interesting ones that I keep hearing about is this idea that the Sixers are going to somehow break up this process thing with Joel Embiid this offseason. Um, Me personally, and I know Maestro doesn't like when I talk about things like this when it comes to trading within your rival division and all
Hmm.
that stuff, but I as much as I would like to have Joel Embiid on the Knicks, I just don't see a situation where the Sixers do it. Not with a guy in his prime, anyway. Like, if that guy was beyond his prime and can only play 20 minutes a night, then yeah, I could see him doing it. But for a guy on this level, I just don't see it happening. So I guess my question for you is that how much do you take the NB trade talks, the rumors, and, whatever, like, other information you might have, on the inside and all that?
I think there's a little bit of there's something there with the trade. I don't know about to the Knicks. I know the Knicks are, as you know, probably Knicks, they're getting everybody. It's
Yeah.
every year. It's
Every
like
off season, it's
every off
always
season they're
how can
getting
we get
it's
Dame? How can we
yeah,
get
yeah. Right.
yeah? How can we get Giannis? It's always that.
Right. When somebody's up for, that level, it's always something there. But, with Embiid, it's okay. The Sixers are going to want a ton for Joel Embiid. They're not going
Yeah.
to just trade him for nothing,
Right.
just like
Right.
look at what they want for a Harden. They want all these picks and an all-star caliber player. So Joel
They're
Embiid,
not getting that.
yeah, you're going to get Rudy Gobert type of deal where it's like 5 first-round picks and then
Yeah.
and you're going to get a couple all-star players. And I don't know if the Knicks are willing to give up the farm just even for Joel Embiid too, because they would Randall doubt it. Like that's the contract
Well,
problem.
if you remember the Donovan Mitchell stuff last offseason, that
Hmm.
was a big topic, and
Yeah,
we saw how that kind of played out. I mean, we met him in the playoffs and we took him out. So, the whole narrative about it's a failure if the Knicks don't beat Cleveland, that kind of got thrown out the window.
yeah.
But I feel like the trade market since the Rudy Gobert trade happened, I feel like it's kind of come back a little bit.
Yeah.
Maestro, what Bradley Beal go for again? What did he go to Phoenix for?
Oh, you put me on the spot, bro, and
Mhm.
I do not remember. I mean, it wasn't none of that.
Right,
So Bradley
right.
Beal wasn't like no crazy. It
Yeah, I
wasn't
think
no
it was like
nothing
three picks,
crazy.
three
Yeah,
picks,
yeah.
and it was a
And
player.
Shemet,
Yes, yeah,
Landry
yeah. Landry
Shamet,
Shamet.
right,
Shamet.
right. So
Yeah.
you had that trade go with, that wasn't a big compensation, and then Chris
Mhm.
Paul, went to the Warriors for not that much compensation, and so,
Right.
I think the Knicks are monitoring that, and they're kind of saying to themselves, well, I mean, if these guys are going for pennies on the dollar, like, like I saw Stephen A. a few weeks ago
But those
making
was
it.
contract situations, though, Trey, to cut you off.
Uh huh.
Those was, Bill had a big ass contract.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, let's be clear. The Wizards, as much as they said, like he said he want to stay, and they say maybe we could work something out.
Yeah.
They got out when new management came in. It was very clear.
Mm-hmm.
Get this money off our damn books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So, because, I mean, a week later, Porzingis went.
Yeah.
I mean, and even though they bought in Poole for a lot of money, he's 25 years old. So,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? That's a different. I mean, so that's kind of a different situation. I think with the Knicks, and let's be clear, Embiid is not going to the Knicks, and I know you don't want him, but it ain't happening even if you did.
No, it's not. I don't see it
Yeah,
happening.
and even let's be clear, even
I'm
if
not
you
even
wanted him,
dreaming
it ain't
for it.
happening.
I'm
Yeah,
not even
right.
dreaming for it. So
I think it would be a little different situation. I mean, you got a guy who's the MVP of the league.
Yeah.
Uh, for better or for worse. I mean, that's just a whole different market, a whole different conversation.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
in the Donovan Mitchell situation, Donovan Mitchell is one of them. You know what I'm saying? Bradley Beal had a stretch when he was playing like one of them.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? He wasn't never considered like one of them. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a different situation.
Yeah, but even like with the Dame situation too. So, also like I was saying before you had cut in. So when Stephen A. was making the presentation of Dame coming to New York, this dude's talking about we got first round picks, we got players, we got da 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 da, and I'm like, wait a minute. And look, I get Dame as one of them dudes, right? I get Dame as one of them dudes, but he's 33 years old. He's an older player. And don't get me wrong, I would take him. But if I'm the Knicks looking at it, I'm like, wait a minute. We just saw Bradley Beal, and I get Brad Beal is not Dame, but both of those guys are, in their 30s. Why should we have to give up our compensation for Dame, who's going to be, I think, 34 later this year? And how much does he really have left? I mean, he just started, with some of these injuries over the past couple of years. Who knows what kind of sign that is? Could he be breaking down? Who knows? Is he a great shooter still? Yeah, he's still a great shooter. But if I'm the Knicks, I kind of look at the Dame situation and say, I think we'll hold on to, our assets, and then we're just going to wait for a guy like, I'm going to throw a name out there, Luka. Like, if Luka doesn't like what Dallas is doing, and in a year or two, then that's the kind of player that I'm willing to give up 5 first. Or
basically, you want to do this for a younger player, and
I want to, I want to give up. Yeah, I want to give up 3 players, 5 picks for a player like that, like Luka. Right. Or if Giannis decides, you know what, I want to chip in Milwaukee, I want to try something different. That's the kind of guy that I'm willing to give up the farm for.
Right, and with Dame,
that's reasonable.
With Dame, it's like a 2 or 3 year window or 2-year window. That's why I said if the Sixers are going to jump on it, you jump on it now.
Right.
You do it, whatever it takes. For the Knicks, I mean, Brunson just had a great year, like a tremendous year.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we all saw that coming because what he did in Dallas, I think they're like, man, we should have never got rid of this guy.
Oh, they're shaking in their head, in their boots, man.
we should have kept him with Luka.
Yeah.
That was the combination. You go get Kyrie, who knows he's gonna be there, he's not gonna work, he's not gonna come to work. This is one of those things with Kyrie. He might go off on some sabbatical somewhere. You never know with Kyrie. But you want to keep Brunson, you got, I mean, you just build around him and you keep building around him. I like RJ Barrett. Like that's the Knicks have pieces. They just have to. I just think they just need to just keep it going for a couple of years.
Yeah, they need this. They need shooting, and I'm comfortable with them addressing the shooting this offseason. Like they got DiVincenzo from what's that, from Milwaukee? I think he was. Oh no, Golden State. From Golden State. Yeah, I like DiVincenzo as a guy that can spot up, shoot. Hit him in the corner, he can knock down shots. Like I like that pickup. And if they do nothing else this offseason with the team they got going forward, I'm cool with going forward with it.
Yeah, the Knicks are gonna be fine because DiVincenzo is a typical type of guy. He can play D. I'm surprised the Warriors let him go. I know they got Chris Paul, but they they could have kept DiVincenzo because he helped them a lot, knockdown shooter. And he can play some defense, and and plus he's back playing with with Brunson too. So now that Villanova connection
with Brunson, right? Yeah.
The Villanova Knicks.
Right.
And Josh Hart's there too. So.
And Josh Hart, yeah. So the Knicks,
crazy.
Those are the type of guys that Thibodeau always likes. Those hard nosed defensive guys. And that's what the Knicks. Like I said, the Knicks just need to stay pat where they are, and in the East is so wide open.
Yeah, they develop.
And develop.
Yeah, they're young.
Yep. They're young. And kind of going back to the Donovan Mitchell thing, there's this story out there that he told the Cavs, I'm not re-signing with you guys. So if you guys do something with me before my deal ends, then you got to do what you got to do. To me, he wants to be in New York. That's what it sounds like to me, because he's from the area. His dad works for the Mets, I think, and I think he kind of sees himself as a Knick. It's just I think they, with the whole Danny Ainge thing, I think Danny Ainge was just trying to, beat guys in the head.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So if I could get Donovan Mitchell for free, hey, you know what I'm saying?
There ain't no such thing as free, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, free agency.
Because he gonna tap them pockets, that's for sure.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Courtney, man, this is the favorite segment, the fan favorite.
Okay.
It's a two-parter. I want you to let people know specifically where they can DM you at. Not me, not Trey. Let the people know where they can DM you.
All right. You can DM me, slide in my DMs, as they say. You can DM me on Twitter, Courtney110979, Instagram, CJ Harden _79. Had to do that underscore because the page got hacked. My original page got hacked, so had to start that over. So you have that, and I'm on Facebook as well, Courtney Harden. And I always say, you want to hit up the show, Google The Real Deal with Courtney Harden. It has all the episodes on there because there's too many platforms. It's on Spotify, Google Play. It's on all the the socials and everything. So that's where you can find it.
Okay, so here's the second part.
Okay.
I want you to give me the top 5 players in the NFC East, and I want to give it to you with a preface because the majority of the people that I have to deal with on a day-to-day and not in the social media are Commanders fans. And you are clearly a Philadelphia Eagles fan.
Yes.
I want you to I get constant calls, conversations, walking around in my day of life. Who the fuck is this nigga y'all got on this show? He don't know nothing about sports. I don't know why y'all keep bringing these people on this show that don't know what they talking about. He ain't say such and such. He ain't do such and such. She ain't say this. And me and Trey no longer want the burden of answering, hey man, that's his list.
Yeah. I get this from family too, bro.
That's this man's list. That's that woman's list, man. What do you want me to say?
Right.
So everybody knows where they can find you. Courtney, I want you to give us the top 5 players in the NFC East right now.
Well, I'll say this before. There's no Commanders on this top 5 list, so.
Oh my God!
So they can at me all they want. There's no Commanders on this list. But once you hear the list, you'll know, like, okay, this is the list. So, all right, top 5 in no order.
No order. Okay.
Yep. Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
Michael Parsons.
Got it. Yep.
Saquon Barkley.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. I'm having it. Okay, so I'll go AJ Brown.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And the 5th. See, this is tough because it's two Dallas Cowboys. But I'm gonna go Dak Prescott. I'll say he's 5th.
Dak Prescott over Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, because you had Courtney. The first four names were in my top 5, and my show just named my 5th guy, Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry.
Oh yeah.
Now, it's your list though. I'm not gonna try to convince you.
I'm gonna stick with Dak. I'll stick with Dak. Just because.
Okay.
Yeah, Terry McLaurin. Underrated. Real good receiver. He just would be right outside that top 5. But I think if you list like top quarterbacks, top receivers, where does Terry McLaurin ends up? He's in the 10-15 range probably for receivers. You would say?
Yeah.
I put him a little higher than 10.
A little higher.
I put him a little higher. I put him at 8. I put him at 8.
Okay. So and then I say if Dak,
I haven't done my wide receiver ranking. So yeah.
And then Dak. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Dak, but top 10 QB. So I guess they can go either way, but I'm gonna stick with Dak. I'll stick with Dak as the 5th.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie though. I mean, there's some other names. Like if you just kind of throw out honorable mentions and stuff. I'm looking at a guy like Jason Kelsey. Who's kind of have done it, for a long time at the position. For the same team.
Okay.
A guy like Lane Johnson.
Same.
Yep. same position, same team for a long time. I mean, there's quite a few guys that I mean, you could arguably pick from this division.
And Kelsey was.
I mean,
Kelsey
but just
was,
say top 10.
Kelsey was fifth. He was.
I
On
can
that,
see Kelsey.
He was
I
on
can see
that
Kelsey.
fifth, and I'm like, should I? Could I put him? Should I? But people were like, oh, this is all Eagles. So I was like, nah, let me just. I'll back off a little because I mean Trayvon Diggs could have been on that list. There's a few guys that could have really been on the list. Zach Martin from the Cowboys, almost a lineman. He was up there. So yeah, but I think I'm gonna stick with Dak as the fifth best in the NFC.
Well, I will say for sake of not having a debate at my 9 to 5, I am so glad that you did not put Trayvon Diggs.
No, I
in
wasn't
that
gonna put him in the
list
top five
because I would have never. Man, when I tell you that the arguments and fights that would have been in my 9 to 5 behind Trayvon Diggs on this podcast top 5. Because I got Commanders fans and Cowboys fans in the same office. When I tell you that the fights that would have been going on would have been epic, but I wouldn't have had the energy for it tomorrow morning.
Well, we already upset the Commanders fans. I mean, Courtney just kind of, took the first shot anyway. So
yeah, I took the first shot. It's football season.
That's for sure. Yeah, that's for sure.
No
that's
doubt.
for sure.
No doubt.
Courtney Harden, man, we appreciate you, bro. Just go ahead one more time before we let you go. Go ahead and plug your show. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Yes, the Real Deal with Courtney Harden. Like I said, you can find it on all podcast platforms, all social platforms, BS3network.com. It's also on the Roku channel, BS3 Network. Just download the Roku channel, BS3 Network, or BS3TVLive.com. You can find all the shows there. Then like I said, CJ Harden _79 on Instagram, Twitter, Courtney110979, and Facebook. Yeah, so hit me up. And I got to get you guys on the show too, man. We got to do something before the season starts. So I'll put y'all on the hot seat next time. So
no doubt.
I'll definitely return the favor. But this was fun. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no doubt, Courtney. And actually, man, I'm sorry you had to, kind of list your social media because I did have one last question for you. The toughest guest that you had to book on your podcast was who?
Ooh, the toughest guest. Ugh. That's a tough one because I've had so many people, going back and forth and she's a good friend too. Miriam Fader, she's the writer that did the Giannis book.
Okay.
She was one of my first. She was one of my first guests that was on the show years ago.
Right.
So we developed a friendship and a connection, but it's been hard to get her back on. She's been on a couple of times. But I've been trying to get her on after. She's been super busy. She works for the Ringer too.
Right.
So she writes a lot of features and stuff like that. But I'm trying to get her back on, and it's been tough. So the last time I had her on was in 2021 when the book came out. So I've been trying to get her back on since then, and I'm always hitting her up on like every few months, like, hey, you ready to get back on for like the third, fourth time? She's like, yeah. And then something happens, but shout out to her. She was tough. She might not be the toughest, but that's one of the first ones too.
First one that came to mind.
Yeah, come on in my head. Yeah.
No doubt.
For sure.
All right, man.
Hey, man, we appreciate you, man. We'll see you in the internet streets.
Yes.
Be safe out here, man. And we look forward to coming on to your show when we line up.
Yeah, we'll line it up. Like I said, I love this show. I love being on. And like I said, if Commander fans want to come at me, they got the socials. So Commanders, Giants, Cowboy fans especially, they can always hit up on the show. I'm always ready. So I appreciate it, y'all.
All right, Courtney. We appreciate it, man.
Peace.
Y'all stay up. All right. That's what's up. Courtney Harden right here from the Real Deal podcast with Courtney Harden. You can check his podcasts out on all the streaming platforms. Does some excellent work. Interviews a lot of women in sports, media, and things like that, and always, looking to uplift the women in the industry. So, that's the one thing I appreciate about his platform.
For sure. And Commanders news, while we were talking about the NFC East.
Yeah.
Ron Rivera, man, is I guess Ron Rivera was asked about Eric Bieniemy recently because players are out here talking about Eric Bieniemy is too intense is how it was described in something I read today, that he's way too intense. He cussing people out.
Yep.
Tyreek Hill got online, got on Twitter and came to his defense. There's people coming to defense of Airbnb. Like, look, y'all been trash for a long time. Let him come in here and do his thing.
Yep.
Toughen up. Those types of situations. It's just for me. It's the reason why I said it on another show. The Commanders should have been in Hard Knocks this year, not the Jets and not nobody else. It should have been the Commanders. Your thoughts?
So I think the criticism here for me is that Coach Rivera had to let this get out to the media, because someone asked him at the presser, how's things going with the offense and stuff, and he kind of put it out there that some of the guys have been coming to him about Eric Bieniemy. And to me, you kind of keep those things kind of in-house, you know what I'm saying? And, I kind of hate this for Eric Bieniemy, because there's already that stigma out there that he's not a viable head coach. And, we went through it. Yeah. We went through it for so many years. You don't know what he's doing. Yeah, right. We went through it for so many years, talking about he deserves a job, and then people are, bringing up his past into light and stuff. And so... But look, I mean, if you watched last season with him in Kansas City, and you watched the sideline with him and Mahomes, going back and forth at it, I mean, you should kind of already know that that's the intensity that you're going to get. And so, looked like Maestro just kind of left there.
Recording in progress.
But that's my thing. That's kind of my thing here with what the Commanders got going on here is that Ron Rivera, who's kind of the last piece to this, Dan Snyder era, if you will, and maybe Jason Wright is a part of that also, although I would like for him to stay, but I can understand if they want to get rid of him too. It might be time for Josh Harris and Magic Johnson to just be like, you know what, this is the last piece of the original regime. Maybe we need to get our own guys, and then we can kind of get a guy that can, be a true leader. And when things get, when things get tight, on the inside, let it stay inside. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of thing. Like, to me, I didn't have to hear about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, let that stuff stay in house, because I can guarantee you, if not every offensive coordinator, most offensive coordinators are going to be on your ass about dropping a ball or running a route the wrong way. Things like that. So
yeah, I would hope that somebody sat Ron Rivera down and said, "Hey, you gotta stop being so messy in these press conferences." He's got a history of this, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah. So I would hope that somebody sat him down and said, "Hey, you gotta relax," because it's also realistic to think that Ron Rivera is on a hot seat this year.
Mm-hmm. And rightfully so.
That's the thing. Realistic to think. I don't know if I haven't heard any rumblings of that, but that's realistic to think that he'll be on that seat with this year, with new ownership coming in. That's real to believe. So I would hope that that somebody said to him, "Hey, Chuck."
Ooh, Maestro, you think you got a rough internet connection there? You might be going out.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know what
you might be. But you
can hear me now.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Now?
I can hear you. I can hear you. You can hear me though, right?
Nah, it's telling me that. Yeah, it's telling me that
It's telling you.
Oh, okay. But it's just told me that.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
Well.
But yeah, man, Ron Rivera, you gotta chill, bro.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with that. And in relation to the Commanders, a big shout out to everybody that attended the Beyonce concert over the weekend. I think there was 2 shows at the FedEx Field, Saturday and Sunday. A lot of folks, from the area went. Some my cousins went to the show. The one thing that I was paying attention to while the show was going on was that FedEx Field was trending. I think it was Sunday night. FedEx Field was trending, and I'm like, okay, let's see what's going on here. And so I get the sense that some out of towners went to the Beyonce concert at FedEx Field. And I think I kind of get a sense of that because shout out to Rita, the NFL chick, but the reason she didn't go to this particular concert because it's not at Raven Stadium. And I remember the last Beyonce concert she had at the Raven Stadium. She went to Toronto to go to that particular show, right? So folks were complaining about FedEx Field. Like that was kind of like the hot button topic Sunday night was just how bad FedEx Field was as far as like navigating through it, the seats, all the things we talk about, when it kind of comes to that stadium and all that. So I'll just say this about whoever, schedules the city dates and the tours and stuff like that. I don't know why you skipped over Raven Stadium, because when y'all was there years ago, people said that was the best stadium experience in the state. So I don't know what happened. I don't know why the Raven Stadium didn't get this stop. But the next time you do the Renaissance tour, you got to put M&T Bank Stadium on the list. That's all I'll say to that.
Yeah, don't worry. RFK will hopefully be together soon. By next time she put out another album and do a tour like that, hopefully
we'll see. We'll see. Is that a go yet, or they still talking?
No, just wishful thinking.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know how I feel about that. They need to put it right back where it all started.
That's why I said RFK. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I got one more thing, and I know we were talking about the Colin Cowherd thing before Courtney came on. So have you heard this thing that's been going on with the Orioles over the over the course of 24 hours?
Kevin Brown suspended. Kevin Brown being suspended.
Yep.
For essentially reading off of a graphic that the Orioles played bad against the Rays in the past. Even though this year it seemed the least that they could do was split with the Rays this year. So it wasn't like he was saying that this. Yeah. So it wasn't like he was saying that this is a bad team, or like he was literally just reading off the facts, and apparently nothing has been released that it was anything else besides his criticism of the Orioles in the past. I want to believe that that there's something else that hasn't been reported. That's what I want to believe.
I want to believe the same thing too, right? Because there's just no way that you can suspend a guy for doing his job, right?
Yeah.
Like that. And I kind of took it as, and I watched the clip, and sometimes when you're a good team, and the Orioles are good this year, they're the best record in the American League, second best overall. Yep. You kind of got to tell the tale of the tape, right? So this is how the Orioles got here. We were some trash. And this is how we kind of built it back up to being a competitive team that could be able to compete with the Tampas of the world. My Yankees, who've been, struggling lately. The Red Sox, that whole division, right?
Yeah.
And so Kevin Brown, and I don't pretend to know Kevin Brown or any sort, I don't know if he, did something that's maybe behind closed doors that he shouldn't have done. But
I believe that that's it.
Something tells me that it was. Now, there's been several articles that have come out. I know there was the Awful Announcing article that came out that kind of first broke the story a little bit. And then an article from The Athletic, who was written by a female that used to actually cover the Orioles some years ago for, I think it's MLB.com. I heard her on the radio this morning, and she went in on the organization. She basically kind of confirmed that, hey, this is why Kevin Brown got suspended, because of what he said on that broadcast, when they had that graphic up about how bad they were against Tampa all these years. And so, and I guess my other reaction to it too is this, and it kind of goes back to the Colin Cowherd topic we talked about. So you have a graphics department, right? And I'm just going to assume that when you get ready to do a broadcast, that you as the on-air personality or the play-by-play guy or whatever, y'all have a meeting about this stuff, and you know ahead of time, okay, these are the graphics that are going to come up. These are the topics that we're going to talk about. So when these graphics come up, you go ahead and you kind of summarize however which way you want to summarize it. And
Right.
so I'm just curious as to what happened with the production team, the people that do the graphics. Did they get suspended? Because he was basically summarizing the story of what the graphics was detailing.
So, right.
And if the Angeloses didn't want that to be broadcasted, then you kind of got to not just look at Kevin Brown. You got to look at the graphics people as well. This just kind of reminds me, man, you know, I'm a Knicks fan, and sometimes when you got a team, whether they're good or bad, sometimes like the off the court or the off the field noise is more louder than what's on the field or on the court. And I just kind of go back to when Oakley was ushered out Madison Square Garden. That became a big story more than the product on the court. Spike not being able to enter Madison Square Garden on one side of the building, that became a big story versus, you know, the product on the court. You know, this is kind of the same thing here with the Orioles. Like, you got bad management. You got a team that's the second best in the league, that's getting national love now. Like, everybody's been talking about it. Like the Yankees announcers was, you know, giving them all the smoke. The Mets announcers was giving them all the smoke last night on their broadcast. It's like y'all, like y'all got a good thing going, and y'all messing this up over some petty stuff. This is petty. Like, this is, you know, or I should say, the way it's perceived, the way that you guys have addressed this is petty, and it's being talked about more than the product on the field. And I think it's very disappointing. And, you know, again, I'm a Yankees fan, so this is the rival. But, you know, when I look at people that I know that root for the team, I can kind of sympathize with them, because I root for a team who's had a history of bad ownership and has had a history of stories that have nothing to do with the team. So it's rough, man. But I'm with you. I kind of feel like there's something more to this than just him telling the truth about the team's past.
Yeah, Angelos family, is that who it is? John Angelos.
The Angelos family.
Yeah, we need to hear from y'all. Like I said, I refuse that's ignorance. I mean, Colin Cowherd made a mistake. This man didn't make a mistake, so this is different for me. Mm-hmm. So I need to hear from the Angelos. I refuse to believe that that's what got him suspended indefinitely.
Yeah, and they've had a history of letting go of Hall of Fame broadcasters in the past
Miller
and stuff.
Yeah,
John Miller, and then the guy before that. Like, they've had a history of doing this stuff, and it's like, guys, why y'all doing this to y'all legends? Like, y'all, you know, it's you know, it's one of those things. It's like the team is bad for so long, and so you kind of stay quiet.
Maybe they just needed some negative balance. They're doing so good on the field. They just needed something to balance.
Look at me.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, man. I don't know. Because I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't, I don't watch a whole rack of baseball, but yep. I knew the Orioles were doing good, but I didn't realize they were doing that good. I didn't realize they were the second best team in the league. So maybe they was doing this to put eyes on the league. On the team. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, they've been had eyes. Like, they played the Yankees the weekend I was in New York. They was on Sunday Night Baseball. National audience. You know, they got the spotlight. They was on Fox the other weekend. National audience against the Yankees. They get in the spotlight, for the good reasons up until this point. I just think it's an ownership group that's just looking for attention. And if you talk to some people around here, because I work with some Oriole fans. There's a story about them possibly moving the team, which I don't think would ever happen. But one of the sons, John, I guess he's got a girlfriend that's like a country music singer that lives in Nashville. Okay. And Nashville is one of those up and coming cities that's looking to get, more sports teams, into their city and stuff. And that was one of the like topics about, Nashville getting a baseball team, and people around here are a little bit concerned with that, on top of the fact that they haven't agreed to a new lease for Camden Yards, which I think is up in like 4 months. So, So you got a team that could possibly win the chip, and you in a place that you only got 4 months left in with no deal in sight. Like,
interesting.
That's some wild stuff right there. So, yeah, man, y'all gotta do better, man.
Yeah, we need to hear what's going on with y'all.
Yeah, for real. I'm good, man. I don't know if you got anything else. Okay. Yeah, I see you. I see you reading the screen and stuff. So I'm like, all right, yeah, it's going bad. But let me give a quick shout out here. The homie P Shark was up in the YouTube live chat earlier, and speaking of that too, programming note. This Sunday, so Let's Be Real Media, which is also ran by P Shark, gonna be on their podcast Sunday afternoon. I'll let you guys know what time it is, but he's doing a AFC North roundtable, so we're gonna be, doing some stuff like that. I don't know if he reached out to you, Maestro, or not, but at least on the Steelers front.
No, or let me check my DM, but no.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be doing P Shark's podcast, Let's Be Real Media, this Sunday. So make sure y'all check that out. Shout out to everybody else in the chats. Appreciate y'all tuning in, supporting the show. Big shout out to the homie Courtney Harden for coming through. He's doing some big things with his podcast as well. Folks, continue to follow us on our social media platforms. We got the Facebook page. We got the YouTube channel. We also got Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter, or I guess they call it Twitter X now. At Barbershop SPOR2 is the handle. If you got questions, you want to email us comments, barbershopsportstalk1@gmail.com is where you can reach us at. And drop us a review, whether you're listening to any of these streaming platforms, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Apple. Let us know what you think about the show. It goes a long way. And, bro, this was another great week. Another great one in the books here. So I can't wait to do it again next week, homie. Yeah, your internet's bad. Hey, folks, love, peace, and happiness. And as always, folks, mind your damn business. Peace.
Recording stop.
Yeah, we got 'em. Trey, Frazier, and Maestro Styles, you know we got one. Right back like we left something. We don't duck smoke, we want all of it. So line them up, Trey sharp with the blade, you know we sizing it up. I'm quick to catch the fade, you know Styles making the cut. Cause we coming out clean every time that we showing up.
It's gonna be called The Barbershop.